If you'd have bought this VW Up GTI back in 2018 and proceeded to do 24,000 miles in it, you would have lost £2,000 in depreciation. Yeah, £2,000 in 8 years. Heck, even if you had done 60,000 miles in this, you'd only have lost £4,000. But more on that later. One thing I want to find out today is, should you buy one? Let's explore. Okay, starting around town, this Up GTI is 15mm lower than the regular Up. And can you notice it? Well, not really. Because this car is pretty high up anyway, it just feels like a regular Up. Can't really notice anything in the steering yet. It's just like a little nice runaround, really. In terms of stats, we now have a turbocharged 1 litre engine, so we've got 113 horsepower and a lovely 200 newton meters of torque, which makes this car feel really nippy, actually. And when you consider the fact this only weighs just north of a ton, this is 1,070 kilos, this car. It should make it pretty fun on a B-road. But first, let's see what the Up is like to park. I think we know what the answer is going to be to this. That is a regular British-sized car parking space. We have parking sensors on this one, which is a lovely touch. Not that you really need them, to be honest. Although I probably need them because I'm terrible at parking. But even my terrible parking is overshadowed by the fact that this car is about the size of a little whippet. And then once you're in the space, yeah, you can get to the first notch on the door easily. I don't even know why I tried that. Oh, and the door closing sounds like this. Yeah, nice and solid. That, compared to a Fiat 595 Abarth, is, yes, this is much better built. I'm just going to leave it there, to be honest. But for pootling around town, it's lovely. Now, 2 key mods on this car. We've got a turbo elbow and a Scorpion exhaust, which sounds like this. And it just adds a bit of drama to this car. Anyway, coming out of junctions, give it a little bit of gas. Nearly stalled it. Well done, Tommy. This car is so nice and thrummy. It's like a little Highland Terrier, this car. It's a little bit naughty, it poos on the floor, but you still love it. And I can tell I'm going to absolutely love this car on a B-road. But before we find out what it's like there and on the motorway, we should probably do a 30 to 70 sprint. Let's see how much quicker this Up GTI is compared to a regular Up. So obviously the Up GTI is a lot quicker than the standard VW Up. A standard Up does about 16 seconds, and this has basically cut the time in half and done 8.75 seconds. But how does it compare to much larger, much more powerful cars? So it's a little bit quicker than a BMW 118i. It's exactly the same as a VW Golf, but with a 1.5 litre engine, and it's nearly as fast as a Mercedes CLA 180. And you think, that's not that fast really, but remember, this has a similar power to weight ratio as the original VW Golf GTI, so it is still technically a proper hot hatch. Okay, VW Up GTI just coming onto the motorway. I'm going to do it in 3rd gear because I just want to demonstrate how much of a difference having a turbocharger makes. So putting my foot down now, and look at that. All the way up to 70 miles an hour in 1 gear. No stress at all. And we've got a 6-speed box in this, so once you are on the motorway, you're not sitting at 3 billion revs at 70 miles an hour. And you can also get cruise control in this car, which this one has, so set it to 70 odd miles an hour. In general though, a fantastic little car on the motorway because this has got the optional armrest as well, which you have to buy from the dealer. You don't get it as standard, unfortunately. Yeah, it's still a VAG product. You still have to spend lots of money to just get regular things in this car. But comfort is great. Seating position is good. Steering wheel is easy to adjust. I've got climate control. I've got heated seats as well. And you get this nifty little phone holder, which is really nice to see. Let's just see how it reacts from 50 miles an hour in 6th gear. So putting my foot down now. Yeah, look at that. So you don't have to change gears on the motorway. That was my biggest gripe with the regular up, is that it just didn't have quite enough torque to really push you along in one gear. You had to downshift and really rev it out. Whereas this, you can just rely on that 200 Newton meters of turbo torque. Anyway, let's see what results we get in terms of MPG and decibel level. Alrighty then, how did we do? Well, in terms of MPG, we managed just under 50 miles per gallon, which is pretty much near enough the claimed figure. So on a 14-mile commute, you're going to do pretty well in this car, to be fair. Nice and efficient. And then in terms of decibel level, this was quite hard to quantify because it's a very windy day today. But we did a figure between 73.2 decibels and 73.9 decibels. For reference, a VW Golf is about 72.3 to 72.5, so it's a little bit louder inside than a VW Golf is, but by no means unbearable. The only thing I will say is that you definitely notice the wind noise more compared to a VW Golf. It's just lacking that sort of extra 10% of refinement that you get in a bigger car. But what you don't get in a bigger car is the thrummy flickability of a light little hot hatch. So let's see what we can do on some B roads in this thing, shall we? Okay, then let's test out the brakes first. So 100-yard marker, yeah, nice stiff brakes in this, lovely and reassuring. VAG products are always very good on the brakes. Feel isn't quite as good as an equivalent Mercedes, but it does have that nice bite point that I'm looking for. It's better than a BMW. And the thrum of this engine is just fantastic. Now, the one thing I will say is that the gear shift isn't necessarily the best in the world, although this gearbox has done 100,000 miles, and I don't know how hard the previous owners were with it. But it doesn't really have that mechanical feel that I'm looking for. It kind of feels a bit loose, not rubbery, just a bit loose. Anyway, let's see what this thing sounds like through a tunnel. Electric windows, nice to see on a car this size. Do you know what? It's kind of giving like old air-cooled Porsche, but like the diet version. Steering is a bit lackluster, but I mean, it goes where you point it. You can chuck this thing around corners though. Bit of body roll, but I quite like that. It's talking to you, this car, through your bum, and that's what you want. Communication is key. If the steering was just a little bit better, yeah, it would be a much better car. To me, it just kind of feels like regular up steering. But back to the gearbox for a second, because this is actually different compared to the regular up. Because this has got 200 Newton meters of torque, we actually need a beefier gearbox. So this is the NQ200 instead of the other ups gearbox. And it does feel a little bit different. It definitely feels a bit more mature when compared to the other up that I reviewed, and obviously having 6 speeds is lovely. Now, the only other thing that I'm not a massive fan of, but in this car isn't the end of the world, I'll say. It is in other cars, but not in this car, and that's the fact that you can't turn the traction control off. You actually have to get an aftermarket part to be able to do that, which is unfortunate, because this is a hot hatch at the end of the day, and I would like it if I could have full control of the chassis of this vehicle. A lot of people don't mind it, but if you are a proper driver and you do actually like getting the most out of your car, especially if you're taking it on track days, then being able to turn stuff like that off is really important in my eyes. But thankfully, the way the traction control has been calibrated in this, it doesn't hinder the car too much. It doesn't interrupt the flow of your driving as much as you might think it would. But is it going to interrupt our 0 to 60? Well, there is only one way to find out. VW claim this will do 0 to 60 in 8.8 seconds, but will it on a real British, dirty, damp, greasy road? Let's see what this front-wheel drive, very light hot hatch can muster. So then, how did we do? We did a time of 9.66 seconds, and when you consider the fact that I didn't really launch it as hard as I could have done, that is not too far off the claimed 8.8 second time. It's nearly as fast as a Mercedes CLA 180 and quicker than a 2016 Vauxhall Astra. The more you know. Right, small B-road time. This is where the Up GTI should be a fantastic little car, and boy is it. You can feel that lowered suspension controlling the weight of this thing a little bit better. Can you feel that 8mm wider track? I don't think I can. Brakes feel nice and stiff. Chuck it into corners. It is a hoot. But the most important question of all is, can it hit 60 before the corner? Let's do it. That was a terrible gear shift and traction control cut in there. Oh, traction control ruined it for me. Absolutely ruined it. Oh, see, without traction control, it probably would have hit 60 and it completely cut the power. Thing is, this car is so small, you've just got so much room in your lane to move about in, and even on smaller B roads like this, you just feel so confident in chucking this thing round corners. Well, this is so much better than the regular Up though. It's just having that torque to really pull you out of corners. It just feels absolutely fantastic. And the gearing is nice and short, so you can row through the gears if you want to. Rev matching, not so easy, but standard VAG things really. The brakes though are fantastic in this, really reassuring. So then, how would I sum up the Up GTI? And more importantly, should you buy one? Well, it's, for me at least, it's not the most exciting hot hatch to drive in the world. But it is just a nice looking one. It does drive nicely. It just lacks a bit of pizzazz that the Abarth 595 and the Fiesta ST have. But if you want something practical, comfortable and fun, this is the VAG way. Then I think the Up GTI is a fantastic car to live with. And one thing is for sure, it is definitely better built and nicer inside than the Abarth. So if you're looking for something a bit more mature, I would go with one of these. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed content like this. If you did, give us a like and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which unfortunately doesn't include this car in the video today. But again, massive shout out to the owner. Thank you for bringing the car down. If you didn't, we wouldn't have an Up GTI to review. So thank you very much. Anyway, as always, links will be down in the description for things like our 30 to 70 leaderboard and our generic website. And as always, my name has been Tom, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.